Welcome back to Story Time with Jake. Just kidding, kind of. What's going on, guys? It's Jake back at it again. So I had someone give me a really good idea today. I might as well, gotta give them credit, obviously. So if you guys haven't, go check out Languages of Light. Check out Wendy's YouTube channel. She's amazing. She does a lot of light language stuff. A lot of just very grounding, really, really, really good spiritual work. So absolutely go check her out. But anyways, she said today, she was like, hey, you should have a couple videos where you read off, the law of one, or maybe we do like a hangout, or, I go live or something like that. I start streaming. And you guys listen in and we kind of go through this together because, yeah, I can read stuff and I can interpret stuff for you guys, but really going through this and kind of discovering stuff together would be really, really cool. That's a very positive thing. So what I decided to do, and I literally did this right off the bat, like I haven't even prepared whatever. But anyways, so I read the first 25 pages a couple days ago of book 3, but I thought I might as well, because, that's not too far into it. I might as well start from the beginning. So I think I'm going to do that. And if you guys want me to start from book 1, I'm totally cool doing that. And I apologize, I am getting messages. Oh, that's really funny. It was actually from somebody, Leela from the workshop, and she actually just said she's ordering the raw books. So that's really, really funny how synchronicity works. But anyways, so back to the subject. If you guys want me to start from book 1, I totally can. Book 2 will be easiest because book 2 is a lot shorter than all these other ones. These are a little thicker, not too much, but I don't even know how far I'm going to get into this, so we'll see. So I guess we are doing story time with Jake for now on, for a little bit. Okay, so we'll start off. So Ra session number 51, May 13th, 1981. And I'm not going to say, Ra and then the questioner every time, because you guys would absolutely go crazy. I know I would go crazy as well. So I'll just, if I have to say like this is Ra or whatever, I will. But because this book is literally, just question, answer, I don't want to drive you guys crazy. So I completely get that. All right. I greet you in love and in light of the one infinite creator. We communicate now. As we begin book 3 of the Law of One, there are a couple of questions and fairly non-transient importance that I have, and one that I consider to be of a transient nature that I feel obligated to ask. The first is clearing up the final point about harvest. I was wondering if there is a supervision over the harvest, kind of like the ascension, if you want to look at it like that. And if so, why the supervision is necessary and how it works, since an entity's harvestability is determined by the violet ray. So if you guys want me to explain that, I can at a later time. Is it necessary for entities to supervise the harvest, or is it automatic? Okay, in time of harvest, there are always harvesters. The fruit is formed as it will be, but there is some supervision necessary to ensure that this bounty is placed as it should be without the bruise or the blemish. There are those of 3 levels watching our harvest, so there's like 3 levels of ascension, if you will. The first level is planetary, and that which may be called angelic. This type of guardian includes the mind-body-spirit complex totality, or higher self, of an entity, and those inner plane entities which have been attracted to this entity through its inner seeking. So the planet and the higher self are always going to be, and like it says, angelic. So that actually makes sense when I had that channeling recently. It was the white avians. I know it wasn't the angelic, beings, but they were basically saying they were very similar to the angelic beings. And they were describing how this planet has its own, angelic type of being. So that's very interesting. And I did have a subscriber who asked about that. So I really hope you're watching this right now. Okay. The second class of those who ward this process are those of the Confederation, who have the honor or duty of standing in the small places at the edge of the steps of light and love, so that those entities being harvested will not, no matter how confused or unable to make contact with their higher self, stumble and fall away for any reason other than the strength of the light. These Confederation entities catch those who stumble and set them aright so that they may continue into the light. So that's always good. The third group watching over this process is that group you call the Guardians. So this sounds important. This group is from the octave above our own and serves in the manner as light bringers. These Guardians provide the precise emissions of light and love in exquisitely fastidious, disseminations of discrimination, so that the precise light love vibration of each entity may be ascertained. So that's very, very important. Thus, the harvest is automatic in that those harvested will respond according to that which is unchangeable during harvest. That is the violet ray emanation. However, these helpers are around to ensure a proper harvesting so that each entity may have the fullest opportunity to express its violet ray selfhood. This next question I feel to be a transient type of question. However, it has been asked me, one by whom. Okay, that's a little confusing. I have communicated with who has been involved intensely in the UFO portion of the phenomenon. If you deem it too transient or unimportant, we'll skip it. But I have been asked how it is possible for the craft of the fourth density to get here, since it seems that as you approach the velocity of light, the mass approaches infinity. My question would be why craft would be necessary at all. So it's basically asking how the fourth density beings have their UFOs and how they operate with their aircraft. With that's really weird. Somebody from out of America is trying to call me right now on Facebook, which is very weird. I've never had that, so sorry. Okay. I am Ra. You've asked several questions. We shall respond in turn. Firstly, we agree that this material is transient. Secondly, those for the most part coming from distant points, as you term them, do not need craft as you know them. The query itself requires understanding which you do not possess. We shall attempt to state what may be stated. Firstly, there are a few third density entities who have learned how to use craft to travel between star systems while experiencing the limitations you now understand. However, such entities have learned to use hydrogen in a way different from your understanding now. So this is like chemically, I guess. These entities still take quite long durations of time as you measure it to move about. However, these entities are able to use hypothermia. That's badass. Use hypothermia to slow the physical and mental complex processes in order to withstand the duration of flight. That is awesome. Those such are from Sirius, so you're Syrians. Those such as are from Sirius are of this type. There are two other types. One is the type which, coming from 4th, 5th, or 6th density in your galaxy, has access to a type of energy system which uses the speed of light as a slingshot and thus arrives where it wishes without any perceptible time elapse in your view. The other type of experience is that of 4th, 5th, and 6th densities of other galaxies, and some within your own galaxy which have learned the necessary disciplines of personality to view the universe as one being, and therefore are able to proceed from locus to locus by thought alone. Okay, so that's very powerful. Materializing the necessary craft, if you will, to enclose the light body of the entity. I assume that the latter type is the type we experience with the landings of the Orion group, and if you guys have read the previous books, basically they talk about there's a service to others, service to self beings, and that the Orions are the ones doing this service to self, and the Orions are the ones who are trying to basically slow this down, if you will. But the thing that's very interesting is beings that work with service to self ascend just as easy as people who do service to others. So in a way, you can look at it like duality, how the good and bad's here, but in the higher dimensions that doesn't exist. So it's kind of like either way, you're going to ascend, which is very, very interesting to me. I think that's really, really interesting. Okay, so the Orion group is mixed between the penultimate and the latter groups. Why is a vehicle necessary for this transition? When you as Ra went to Egypt earlier, you used bell-shaped craft, which I've seen before in my visions of the alternative timelines that I witnessed. It was like a bell-shaped craft. Very interesting. But you did this by thought. Can you tell me why you used the vehicle rather than just materializing the body? The vehicle or craft is that thought form upon which our concentration may function as motivator. We would not choose to use our own mind-body-spirit complexes as the focus for such a working. Thank you. It seems to me, and you can tell me where I am going wrong with this statement, that we have 7 bodies, each okay, so this is kind of what I was talking to Wendy about earlier. So this is important. It seems to me, and you can tell me where I'm going wrong with this statement, that we have 7 bodies, each corresponding to one of the 7 colors of the spectrum, and that energy that streams into our planetary environment and comes in through the 7 energy centers that we have called chakras to develop and perfect these bodies. Each of these bodies is somehow related to the mental configuration that we have, and the perfection of these bodies and the total in-streaming of this energy is a function of this mental configuration. And through this mental configuration, we may block to some extent the in-streamings of energy that created these 7 bodies. Could you comment on where I am wrong and correct what I have stated? Your statement is substantially correct. To use the term mental configuration is to oversimplify the manners of blockage of in-streaming which occur in your density. The mind complex has a relationship to the spirit and body complexes which is not fixed. Thus, blockages may occur between spirit, mind, or body and mind upon many different levels. We reiterate that each energy center has 7 subcolors, let us say for convenience. Thus, spiritual and mental blockages combined with mental and bodily blockages may affect each of the energy centers in several different ways. Thus, you may see the subtle nature of the balancing and evolutionary process. I am unsure as to whether this will provide an avenue of questioning that will be fruitful, but I will ask this question since it seems to me that there is a connection here. On the back of the book, Secrets of the Great Pyramid, which I've heard before, I've heard of that, there are several reproductions of Egyptian drawings or works, some showing birds flying over horizontal entities. Could you tell me what this is and if it has any relationship to Ra? These drawings of which you speak are some of many which distort the teaching of your perception of death as the gateway to further experience. Amen to that. The distortions concern those considerations of specific nature as to processes of the so-called dead mind-body-spirit complex. This may be termed in your philosophy the distortion of Gnosticism. That is the belief that one may achieve knowledge in a proper position by means of carefully perceived and accentuated movements, concepts, and symbols. In fact, the process of the physical death is, as we have described before, one in which there is aid available, and the only need at death is the releasing of that entity from its body by those around it and the praising of the process by those who grieve. By these means may the mind, body, spirit which has experienced physical death be aided, not by the various perceptions of careful and repeated rituals. So that's very interesting. You spoke at an earlier time of rotational speeds of energy centers. Am I correct in assuming that this is a function of the blockage of the energy center so that when it is less blocked, the speed of rotation is higher and the energy in-streaming is greater? You are partially correct. In the first 3 energy centers, a full unblocking of this energy will create speeds of rotation. As the entity develops the higher energy centers, however, these centers will then begin to express their nature by forming crystal structures, so like the crystalline self, if you will. This is the higher or more balanced form of activation of energy centers as the space-time nature of this energy is transmuted to the time-space nature of regularization, in balance. This book has a lot of, what would you just say, just very intellectual, big word. So like it's a book where I should probably slow down in my talking because I don't want to lose any of you guys. It's very sophisticated basically. Okay, so what do you mean by crystal structures? Oh, and really quick, that actually makes sense because when I went to the workshop last August in New York, even though I knew about like the energy centers, Max was saying, he was like, a lot of you guys, there are a handful of us, he's like, a lot of you guys are like mainly alien and some people aren't. And I ended up being one of the people he was saying was mainly alien. But anyways, what I'm getting to is when I just saw a big flash of energy, so it's a good synchronicity. I get that a lot. So my energy centers, like my strongest basically is my third eye and my throat chakra. With me, I'm very good with words. I think that's why I do channeling and came easy to me. But basically, you can have a blockage where it's like, it needs to be in order. So if you're like me, where I used to, I'm so up here in my chakras, but lower, I'm not complete. You're not going to have that line of energy and opening and activating all your chakras, and you're not going to get the connections. Like, you'll get connections, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be like the right way to go about it. It's not going to be healthy. And if your chakras are not aligned, your energy is going to be way off, So everything really has to be in order there. So I think that's what they were talking about. So let me get back to that. So what do you mean by crystal structures? Each of the energy centers of the physical complex may be seen to have a distinctive crystalline structure in the more developed entity. Each will be somewhat different, just as in your world, no two snowflakes are alike. So remember that. If you don't think you're unique, there you go. You're very unique and you're very special, each and every one of us. However, each is regular. The red energy center often is the shape of the spoked wheel. The orange energy center is the flower shape containing 3 petals. The yellow center, again, in a rounded shape, many faceted as a star. The green energy center, sometimes called the lotus shape, the number of points of crystalline structure depended upon the strength of this center. The blue energy center, capable of having perhaps 100 facets and capable of great flashing brilliance. The indigo center, a more quiet center, which has the basic triangular or 3-petaled shape in many, although some adepts who have balanced the lower energies may create more faceted forms. The violet energy center is the least variable and is sometimes described in your philosophy as 1,000-petaled, as it is the sum of the mind-body-spirit complex distortion totality. So, your crown chakra, like they say, it's the peacock tail, the many different colors, and so that's basically what they're touching on. And I know you guys know about all what I just read because, when you know about your chakras and you do your meditations on your YouTube videos, like one of the ones that I use to clear my chakras, I do it 2 times a week. Every time it goes to each energy center, it shows the symbol. So I'm sure you guys know about that already. Okay. Right now I feel a feeling at the indigo center. If this center were totally activated and not blocked at all, would I then feel nothing there? This query, if answered, would infringe upon the law of confusion. Immediately after the death of the physical body, you have stated that the primary activated body is the indigo, and you stated that it is the form maker. Why is this so? This will be the last full query of this session of working. The indigo body may be seen to be an analog for intelligent energy. It is in microcosm the logos. The intelligent energy of the mind-body-spirit complex totality draws its existence from intelligent infinity or the creator. This creator is to be understood both in macrocosm and microcosm to have, as we have said, 2 natures. The unpotentiated infinity, which is intelligent, that is all there is. Free will has potentiated both the creator of us all and ourselves as co-creators with intelligent infinity, which has will. This will may be drawn upon by the indigo or form-making body and its wisdom used to then choose the appropriate locus and type of experience which this co-creator or sub-logos you call so carelessly a person will take. So that's kind of funny. So I guess we're sub-logos. So that's awesome. Okay, and then usually at the end of each like section, they always ask like, is there anything the person who like they use instrument, like the person who's channeling, they always ask, is there anything they can do to improve the contact? I mean, I'm not gonna read it because there's really no point. You know, he basically just says drink water, put the certain things that they have on the table, like the altar, in like a 90-degree angle. I mean, if there's importance to it, I'll read it off, but if not, I'm not going to waste your time. Okay, so since this is the first video, I'll just do a little bit right here, and then I'll stop. Okay, so next session. In the previous session, you stated the other type of experience is the 4th, 5th, and 6th densities of other galaxies, and some within your own galaxy which have learned necessary disciplines of personality to view the universe as one being, are able to proceed from locus to locus by thought alone, materializing the necessary craft. I would like to ask you, when you say 4th, 5th, and 6th densities of other galaxies, some within your own galaxy, are you stating here that more of the entities in other galaxies have developed the abilities of personality than have those in this galaxy for this type of travel? I am using the term galaxy with respect to the lenticular shape of billions of stars. We have once again used the meaning for this term galaxy that does not lie within your vocabulary at this time, if you will call it so. We refer to your star system. It is incorrect to assume that other star systems are more able to manipulate the dimensions than your own. It is merely that there are many other systems besides your own. Okay, so I think for now I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to get your guys' feedback. So if you guys want me to do this, I will continue to do this. If not, no big deal. And then I can also start from book 1 if that makes more sense. I mean, it kind of does. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Let's see. I'll probably do a channeling tomorrow or Tuesday. Part of me is I don't want to come on here every single day because, one, like I was telling people earlier, you always have to be in that student situation, that student role. As soon as I act like, oh, I'm a teacher and I don't need to learn anything and I'm just going to channel every day, you really start to lose focus, and you lose that positive intention, and you start, the way I look at it, you know, from all this reading stuff, you start becoming service to self. So with me, it's like, you know, I'm still discovering stuff. So I don't want to be on here every day. You know, I want to have my life, discover things in my life and share it with you guys. I don't want to treat this like a job. Like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to come out, I'm going to do my channeling, bye, see ya. That's not the way that this channel is going to go down. That's just not what I want to do. I want to connect more with you guys. You know, we're all equal, we're all one. So there's absolutely no reason why I should do that. You know, so why I should be so service to self. I don't want to be like that. So I'm not going to, because I don't have to. So, all right, y'all. I got a whole bunch of people messaging me, so I got to go talk to people. So hope you guys have a good night. Stay in the white light as always, and I send you guys positive white and golden light energies, and have a good night. I love y'all. Thank you for being in my life, and I hope you enjoyed story time with your boy Jake. So thank you guys. I'll talk to you later. Peace.